Hey there, Jordan Chariton, live for you on Thursday, January 10th. Let's make sure you can hear me, you can see me. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Can you see me? We've had some problems in the last few days with audio, so I want to make sure you could hear me and you could see me. Yes, I did shave. It was becoming a little bushy, so I did shave. I hope you don't mind that I shaved. We gotta look professional for the folks here. Welcome to Status Coup's annual daily live stream. A lot to discuss. If you were with us earlier, Ty and I were testing out a new tech program we're trying to use. So hopefully we'll have that ready for the Sunday super duper GoFundMe extravaganza marathon starting at noon Eastern. If you don't know, we go live every single Sunday, rain or shine. We go live for the Sunday marathon starting at noon Eastern. So looking forward to that. I am also looking forward to continuing to fundraise for the company, which we'll talk about now. We'll talk about more. We now have 109 paid monthly members. So if you haven't signed up as a member, I hope you check it out. You can go to statuscoup.com/join. That's statuscoup.com/join. See what you get. You get a lot of behind the scenes content, a lot of cool stuff. So I'll put the link in. Unfortunately, Jen is still out, so I am manning the live chat in addition to being your humble reporter. Here's the link for membership. We've been getting, during the Sunday marathon, we got 21 new members, but every day we've been getting like 7 to 10 new members. So I really appreciate those becoming a member. I'll remind you a little bit later about our new member contest. We do have a new member contest, and one lucky new member/winner is going to get to pick the next story Ty and I go in the field for. Thank you, Kelly, for going and donating to the GoFundMe. I know you've donated quite a bit. I'll give you an update. We're at $37,140. So our goal for the end of January is $45,000. So we do have a little ways to go. Hopefully, those of you who are in the mood to help fundraise and help grow our independent media network, feel free to donate to the GoFundMe. Not that Super Chat isn't appreciated, but unfortunately, because YouTube is evil, YouTube takes 30% of our Super Chat contributions. So GoFundMe is a lot less. Definitely, if you don't mind, we appreciate you donating to GoFundMe over Super Chat. But if you'd rather Super Chat, that's fine too. Speaking of Jamal Thomas, hear from Jamal Thomas, I reached out to him 3 times. I tried to interview him this week to air on the Sunday live stream, but Jamal Thomas has not responded to me. So I don't know what I did. I texted him, messaged him. What else could I do? He hasn't responded. I was trying to interview Jamal, who I like a lot. So that's the deal. But he hasn't gotten back to me. So if you're talking to Jamal, let him know, like, JC, not Jesus Christ, Jordan Chariton, has reached out to you for an interview, and he has not responded. So, boy, what a morning. I'm kind of like I don't mean this in a full of myself way, but I guess I'm kind of a public figure, and that comes with the territory. You tweet things, you do videos, you get attacked. But boy, this morning I tweet out after reports come out that Kamala Harris, the California senator, I didn't know that Jamal's been dealing with some issues. Sorry to hear that. Thanks for letting me know. I'll stop harassing him for an interview. Oh shit, I forgot our checklist. Remember, folks, you got to smash that like button. Smash it into smithereens. Smash it like those people calling you Bernie bros. Smash it like those hillbots calling you Bernie bros. We're at 175 viewers, but only 65 likes. So we need over 100 of you to wake up. Wake up and smash that like button. The more people that press the like button, the more people who will see this live stream. We're getting up in the 300s, sometimes over 400 viewers. And a big part of that is because YouTube's algorithm, unfortunately, works where the more people that press the like button, the more people that see the live stream in their feeds. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep smashing that like button, and I'll tell you more. I'll get to membership in a little bit, but thank you to the 10 new members who signed up yesterday. Follow us at Status Coup on the Twitter. Subscribe to our podcast. We're making a lot of these interviews and a lot of these live streams into podcasts so you can listen to it. bit.ly-Status Coup podcast. And you can go to the Evil Empire Facebook, facebook.com/Status Coup. We do need our likes because that's how we get around a lot of the YouTube suppression. So, Kamala Harris is the latest who's apparently throwing her hat in the ring. Multiple reports earlier today say Kamala Harris will enter the presidential race on or around Martin Luther King Day. Senator Kamala Harris will formally announce her bid for the White House on or around Martin Luther King Day, sources told KCBS radio, a station in her home state of California. The sources said she would probably make the announcement at a rally in Oakland. A spokesperson for Harris told The Hill, however, that no announcement is imminent and Harris will not be in Oakland during the holiday weekend, blah, blah, blah. Harris has long been considered. During a CNN appearance, Harris said she thinks the U.S. is ready for a woman of color to be president. Quote, "We have to give the American people more credit, and we have to understand that the American public and the people of our country are smart people who will make decisions about who will be their leader based on who they believe is capable, who they believe has an honest desire to lead, to represent, to see them, to be a voice for them, even if they have no power." And she also said it will ultimately be a family decision, and over the holiday I'll make that decision with my family. Blah, blah, blah. So, what do you have to say here? Because, you know, at the end of the day, Kamala Harris is the dream candidate. She is the dream candidate of the corporate Democratic establishment. She's a woman. She's black. So anybody, whether it's Bernie Sanders, whether it's journalists, whether it's political activists, whoever it is, that point out nothing about her personally, but point out her record, which, let's face it, she's only been in the Senate 2 years. Barack Obama was in the Senate 2 years before he ran for the presidency. I would venture to think most of you watching don't exactly think that worked out so well. Jesus, where is GoFundMe? Jesus, it's with Mary. No, I'm kidding. Here's the GoFundMe link. The GoFundMe link is also, if you look at the description box in this live stream. One incredible person who I've been trying to get on the phone donated $5,000 2 Sundays ago, which really helped us. Obviously, not everybody could donate $5,000, but those kinds of contributions are what make the difference between whether we could actually go in the field and cover Bernie's campaign when he announces, which I think is coming up, whether we could go out in the field and cover the pipeline fights, water contamination, a lot of stories we won. An average reporting trip actually costs about $2,000 to $3,000. So just $5,000 gets us to go out on 2 trips. So I thank that person. And I know we've been doing this GoFundMe since September, so I know it's hard to keep the urgency up. I know it's hard to keep hearing about it, but it's really appreciated, and more importantly, really necessary. So there's a link. No amount is too low, and obviously no amount is too high. So feel free. If you can, even $5, $10, $20, whatever you could do, right there in the GoFundMe. So Kamala Harris is the dream candidate because the Democratic establishment can distract, deflect, and distort for all day. Whatever you say, you're a racist. Whatever you say, you're black. Whatever you say, you're a member of the KKK, which is what I experienced earlier today. So I tweeted out, I didn't exactly think it was like slander. I tweeted out, Kamala Harris set to announce her run for the presidency. In 2 years in the Senate, majority of her donations have come from financial interests, including Wall Street, financial industry lawyers, and the real estate industry. And you can't see her donations there, so here you go. They say 3 years. I don't know why, because she officially became senator in 2017. So maybe they're including her campaign donations when she was running for the Senate. She officially became a senator in 2017. So let's say in 2.5, 3 years, $2.2 million from financial attorneys. $2.2 million from financial attorneys. Those are not lawyers from the ACLU, folks. Those are financial attorneys. So she got $2.2 million there. Then you got over $1 million from movie stars, actors. She is from California, so you would think she's going to get celebrities, musicians, all that. No problem with that. She's got $995,000 for women's issues. A lot of this, sometimes a lot of this group are groups like Emily's List, Planned Parenthood. Frankly, Emily's List is not for Medicare for all because it would most likely put them out of business. So, you know, women's issues are great, but you got to read in between the lines. Some of those women's issues groups, not exactly for the issues we're for. And then you have, then you have retired, and then you have Wall Street. In 2 years, she's taken $770,000 from Wall Street, followed by $575,000 from big real estate developers. And then you have $453,000 from business services. I don't know about you folks, but I think that's a hell of a lot of money to have taken from financial attorneys that represent Wall Street, that represent hedge funds, that represent big financial companies. Wall Street, almost $800,000 in 2.5 years. Big real estate developers, which are like the rest of the country, gentrifying many, many, many neighborhoods in California, such as San Francisco, such as Anaheim, Los Angeles, Oakland. So I'm not calling her Lucifer, but this isn't exactly, taking a lot of money from labor unions. This isn't taking money from, progressive groups. These are the who's who of the financial industry she's been taking money for. And, contrary to the hyena attack I got this morning, which I'm about to show you, they're not exactly, donating hundreds of thousands of dollars, or in some cases, millions of dollars, to work with her to pass Medicare for all. They're not exactly donating millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's get that free public college for the kids, shall we? Let's end private prisons. Let's put an end to this fracking, which makes us so much money. Orange Blitz, you racist, sexist. I know, apparently. And thank you, Patrick, $24 in the GoFundMe. Jen, you're a mighty woman. Unfortunately, Jen's not here. She's been out for a little bit, but I'll tell her you said so. Thanks for the $24. Henry donated $5. Jordan's work is important and deserves support. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate that. Jesus donated $5. Appreciate it, Jesus. I've been asked, Jesus, I've been talking to you all the time, and I'm a Jew, but you never respond. So thank you for finally responding. Keep the GoFundMe going, and we'll talk about membership in a little bit. So the rest of what I tweeted about Kamala Harris, it's not exactly like burning down her village here. Here's what I tweeted. In the summer of 2017, just half a year into her term as senator, Harris met with Hillary Clinton's top donors in the Hamptons. I do not think they were there to strategize how to pass Medicare for all and free public college. I thought that was fair. Is that so scandalous of me? Is that racist? Is that sexist? And then I tweeted, tweeting these facts is of course going to bring out the identity politics police, painting me or others as racist and sexist. Frankly, I don't care if Kamala Harris is purple and gender neutral. She's the same old, same old. We need a candidate that draws the starkest, and I don't have the rest, starkest contrast to Donald Trump. So that, oh boy, did that get me in trouble. Here's the first one. Bernie bros kicking the smear machine into high gear with the revelation that Kamala Harris is going to announce her candidacy. We'll know it's serious when Sirota chimes in. I don't understand it. And yes, smash the like button. We got 255 people watching, but only 128 likes. The more people that like the live stream, the more people that see it, and the more viewers we get. The more viewers we get, the more this important information gets out, and we grow paid members so we could get out in the field. So even if you don't like me, just press the like button. Fake it till you make it, as I like to say. Smash that like button. So, oh my God, the attacks on me, they might as well call me the new Grand Wizard of the KKK. It was so ridiculous. You call yourself a progressive? Shut the hell up. We have no room for you. Go work for Trump. Hashtag racist. Hashtag sexist. This is exactly what the Democratic Party has in mind, pushing Kamala Harris. Immediately attack the messenger as racist as sexist. Little boy, black women will drag you by your small nuts. Try it. Black women are the backbone of the party, and slanders has not a place in the party we helped build. Go back to sucking on your thumb, and we definitely won't let your racist behind trash a black woman. Well, first of all, I appreciate the compliment. Truth Slayer, but I gained a couple pounds this holiday season. I wish I was a little boy. I'm a little big right now. I'm trying to lose some weight. So, thanks for the compliment, but woo! Tom Clark, I like this video solely because Jordan told me to do it. Go, Jordan, go. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for doing that. So, I don't even need to respond to this. It's so ridiculous. There's a few more. Poor Bernie bros. So much clear the field for the saint. So little time. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Well, thanks for the info. Not about Harris, but about you and status coup. 2 more for the block list. Okay, block me. But Martin Luther King wasn't killed by a flying dollar bill. He was killed by a bullet. Bernie Sanders has the @NRA to thank for his career in Congress. Yes, that D- that Bernie Sanders has from the NRA. That's what he has to thank him for his career in Congress. Cool. Now can you find Bernie's tax returns? Hashtag the resistance. Hashtag no revolution. What is Neera Tanden writing this? I feel like Neera Tanden is really a lot of these accounts. I really do. And meaningless observations. Yes, so just totally meaningless that she has been hoarding money from Wall Street, financial attorneys, real estate developers in 2.5 years. Means absolutely nothing. Why even bother? Why even mention it? They should just take as much money as humanly possible. It doesn't affect them one bit. Of course they're going to take hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars from certain special financial interests, and then they're going to vote for the people. That's how it always happens, right? This is hardly a shock, as those are the people who have the money. And I don't give a good goddamn. She's the most progressive U.S. senator. She's smart and quick in debate. Her experience is solid, and her being a black woman is icing on the cake. Oh, she's the most progressive U.S. senator. Okay. Based on what exactly? She's smart and quick in a debate. I see that. Her experience is solid. I don't see that. She's been a senator for 2 years. I have nothing against a black woman running for president. This isn't me reporting on her to get her not to run. I say the more the merrier. I don't have a problem with her running. Let her run. Let anybody run who thinks they're qualified. But you better be prepared for people to point out who the hell you're taking money from. Whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're purple, whether you're green, whether you're glow in the dark, it doesn't really matter. And this reflexive argument, immediately, you're sexist, you're racist. I don't even want to get into where I usually go to report. I'm not exactly going to report in nice neighborhoods. I generally go and report in communities that are downtrodden. I generally go and report in communities of color, in indigenous communities, in poor communities, poor black people, poor Latino people, poor white people. That's where I generally go. But yes, I'm a racist. Going to Flint all 13 times when, honestly, if I really wanted to get the clicks and grow, I would have been just covering Trump like everybody else 24/7. But I'm a racist. There's more. Uh, I know a lot of black people, and they know me. Snort, laugh. So basically, that's the argument that what I just pointed out, which my actions clearly show I'm not a racist. That in itself means you're racist because I'm saying I covered things in minority communities. Running another white male candidate is, quote, running the same type of candidate. It won't work. I don't understand how one can claim to be, quote, progressive while calling people of color dismissive names for trying to get the white majority to understand that racism is real. You don't get it. Well, Mohan Warusha, racism is real. But there's also something called nuance, which is also a rule. So let me understand, let me explain to you one thing that needs to be talked about more as far as racism. Who was harmed the most? Who was the majority class that was harmed the most by the 2008 financial crash? Who would that be? I'm not condescending, I'm reporting. Who would that be? African Americans were harmed disproportionately by the financial crash of 2008. So who Kamala Harris is taking millions of dollars from, almost $800,000 from in 2.5 years, that industry, their illegal fraud disproportionately harmed black people. So racism isn't only what you say. Racism isn't only how you treat people. Racism is actually policy. Yes, Bob, I really don't spend enough time covering the needs of those who live in walled communities in and around San Francisco. That's like my biggest regret of all my reporting. You know, there's something called racist actions and racist policy. And I'm not condescending. I have met black people on the campaign trail that are just as smart as anyone else on policy. This isn't to say black voters don't know what they're talking about. This is to say it's a ridiculous and disingenuous argument to make when a journalist or even a political organizer point out a candidate for president, Kamala Harris, has taken a little too much money from financial special interests in just 2.5 years. It's ridiculous. Frankly, it's offensive. And it's a distortion. It's a way to distort, to deflect, to distract, to say, you're racist. Well, I do the same thing when it comes to Beto O'Rourke. I do the same thing when it comes to Joe Biden. I did the same thing when it came to Hillary Clinton. I'm going to do the same thing with Cory Booker. I'm going to do the same thing with Kirsten Gillibrand. Frankly, when Bernie announces, I'm going to look at his latest donations too. I don't really expect to see anything really disconcerting, but I am going to look into Bernie's donations too, because I'm not here just to elevate Bernie. If there's something troublesome in there, I'll be the first one to tell you that too. So it's this reflexive, disingenuous, ridiculous, intellectually dishonest reaction. And that's why the Democratic Party wants Kamala Harris. I think a lot of people in the Democratic Party want Beto O'Rourke because he's the new shiny thing. But I think the bulk of the Democratic Party want Kamala Harris because they see politics still. They're not understanding. They see politics in terms of demographics. They're not understanding that it's not about the demographics, it's about the policy. If it were about demographics, millions of millennials wouldn't have wanted Bernie Sanders in 2016. But millions of millennials did want a 74-year-old disheveled white Jew from Vermont because of the policies. So tweets like this who rationalize, well, the problem is running another white male candidate. No, that's not the problem. The problem would be running another candidate pushing centrism to Republican-light policies. Running another candidate that says America's already great. Running another candidate who has a record that voted for disastrous trade deals, disastrous wars, disastrous policies that help deregulate banks. It doesn't matter if it's a white male, if it's a black man, if it's a black woman, if it's a giraffe. The policies of the candidate are what matters. Let me tell you something. If Kamala Harris had a record as pushing from day one when she was running for senator for Medicare for all, free public college, ending private prisons, banning fracking, and the things that we need as a country, and then actually walk the walk. If Kamala Harris didn't take these big corporate donations from day one, then I would be leader of the pack saying Kamala Harris is someone we need to consider, along with Bernie Sanders. But that's not the case. That is not the case. So trying to say you're not progressive if you point out a woman of color's, first off, I didn't call her any names, a woman of color's record and who she takes money from, that's intellectually dishonest and it's offensive. But say whatever you want. Your smear campaign will not work this time, bro. Okay. It's not a smear campaign pointing out her record, but whatever. And to be fair, I believe this is from the Intercept, but her campaign committee, I guess since she's been elected, has raised a lot of money from people under $200. So that's technically considered small dollar donations. So she is right around there. She's right around there. Well, not as much, but she's raised a lot of small dollar donations of under $200. So that's a good thing. That doesn't mean that she's not in bed with Wall Street, but it does mean she gets a lot of small dollar donations too. But the problem here is the issue isn't between the issue really isn't between centrists and progressives. The interest is from the big business that runs the Democratic Party, and those big business operatives are trying to co-opt. They're trying to co-opt the Democratic base by screaming racism and playing identity politics. So then when you mention the term identity politics, then I have somebody on Twitter saying identity politics equals civil rights. No, it doesn't. Identity politics equals civil rights. So I'm abusing Kamala Harris and black people's civil rights by reporting publicly available information about who she's taken money from? Is there zero accountability because you're a woman candidate or you're a black candidate? Should their record not be challenged? Should their record not be looked at if they want to run for president? And by the way, I'm all for her running for president. Go for it. Run for president. Nobody's here is saying she can't run for president. I think it's great when all women or all men, whoever wants to run for president. But it's disingenuous to reflexively notice I'd say 99% of the attacks I got on Twitter today, like actual attacks, actually pointed out anything that would debunk what I'm saying. None of it was about, well, she might have taken money from Wall Street, but look at this great thing she did against Wall Street. And by the way, to her defense, she did vote against deregulating Wall Street. Remember, there were 16 Democrats in last year, 16 Senate Democrats that voted with the Republicans to help deregulate Wall Street, to help those small community banks. In reality, the help that the small community banks were getting, meaning less regulation on them, the big banks got too. So she voted against that. But how do we know why she's voting for these things? How do we know why she's voting for, why she now supports Medicare for all? Why she's now why she now has a ban on taking corporate PACs? Why she voted on deregulating the banks? How do we know that it wasn't because she decided to run for president a long time ago? And if you just become a senator in 2017, and 6 months after that, you're meeting in the Hamptons. If you don't know, the Hamptons are where really, really rich, wealthy people go over the summer here on Long Island to meet with Hillary Clinton's top donors. Do you think they met to, smoke a joint, listen to Bob Marley, and talk about the dream of Medicare for all? I don't think so. Matty Perry, $1.99. Have you ever heard from Kyle? No, he hasn't responded to me, and I've reached out twice. So either I did something wrong or he's super busy. But I did reach out to Kyle Kalinske for an interview. Haven't heard back yet. And folks, we're at 337 viewers and 202 likes. So 330 of you folks, smash that like button. Smash it, smash it, smash it like it's identity politics staring you in the face. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see this live stream. So we need to get that up to 300 likes, and we need to do it lickety split. Thank you, Baby Gerald. $5 in the super chat. Don't feed the trolls, Jordan. Don't take their bait. Shove them back under the bridge. Honestly, Baby Gerald, I don't want to admit this, but I kind of like getting in Twitter fights. I don't like to spend like an hour on it, which I did today, but I do enjoy a good Twitter fight. But you're right. I shouldn't feed the trolls. And by the way, a large portion of these people who are messaging, they're from Correct the Record, David Box, because I've seen them before. But you're right. I shouldn't feed the trolls that much. And thank you, Lionel, donated $100 on the GoFundMe. Thank you so much, Lionel. We are now at $37,274. $37,274. So, Lionel, thank you for that amazing $100. We got a $5 from an anonymous donor, $24 from Patrick Coyne. Thank you. Keep it coming if you can. Ty and I are going to be hitting the road very, very soon, and I'm going to give you an update on that membership drive we're doing in a little bit. So here's the other thing. Let me fit this to my screen. So here's the other thing about Kamala Harris. I'm sorry to be racist, but she never really explained why she didn't prosecute Steve Mnuchin, Trump's Treasury Secretary, when she was the California Attorney General. She had an opportunity. I mean, if you're not familiar with the story, former California Attorney General Kamala Harris on Wednesday vaguely acknowledged the Intercept report about her declining to prosecute Steve Mnuchin's One West Bank for foreclosure violations in 2013, and she offered no explanation. Quote, "It's a decision my office made," she said in response to questions from the Hill shortly after being sworn in as California's newest senator. Quote, "We went and we followed the facts and the evidence, and it's a decision my office made." Quote, "We pursued it just like any other case. We go and we take a case wherever the facts lead us." Mnuchin is Trump's nominee to run the Treasury and served as CEO of One West from 2009 to 2015. In an internal memo published on Tuesday by The Intercept, prosecutors at the California Attorney General's office said they had found over 1,000 violations of foreclosure laws by his bank during that time. So let me get this straight. Prosecutors at the California Attorney General's office said they had found over 1,000 violations of foreclosure laws by his bank during that time and predicted that further investigation would uncover many thousands more. But she said, "We went and we followed the facts and the evidence, and it's a decision my office made." Well, apparently your office was telling you there's over 1,000 violations of foreclosure laws by his bank, and we would find many more, if we could investigate it. But the investigations into that memo called, quote, "widespread misconduct" was closed after Harris's office declined to file a civil enforcement action against the bank. Harris's statement on Tuesday doesn't explain how involved she was with the decision not to prosecute or why the decision was made. She also would not say whether the revelations would disqualify Mnuchin for the position of Treasury Secretary. Quote, "The hearings will reveal if it's disqualifying or not, but certainly he has a history that should be critically examined, as do all the nominees," Harris told The Hill. She added that she would review the background and history of all Trump cabinet nominees. Well, I don't want to speculate, but I have a guess why Kamala Harris didn't prosecute Steve Mnuchin, who, according to Kamala Harris's own Attorney General's staffers, said there was plenty of action to prosecute Steve Mnuchin. If you don't know, Steve Mnuchin, pretty well known on Wall Street. That's how Trump knew him. Pretty big reputation on Wall Street. So if Kamala Harris, as Attorney General, had eyes for the Senate, and if Kamala Harris knew, well, I want Wall Street, I'm going to need Wall Street's money to run, maybe it wouldn't be great to get Wall Street donations if, as California Attorney General, you prosecute one of Wall Street's big bankers. Is that such a departure? Maybe if I'm thinking as Attorney General, I'm going to run for Senate, and then if I run for Senate, I want Wall Street money, maybe I shouldn't prosecute Wall Street executives. Jurgen K. $2 in the super chat. Jordan, her nickname should be Private Prisons. 2020. As far as I know, she's not against private prisons. Not at all. Not at all. And by the way, not only did she not prosecute Steve Mnuchin, Kamala Harris was the only Democrat Steve Mnuchin donated to. I mean, I'm just saying, why did Steve Mnuchin donate, I think it was $2,000, to Kamala Harris's Senate campaign? Can you explain that one to me? By the way, for those of you talking about Richard Ojeda, I have reached out to him too. His campaign, at least. I haven't heard back yet for an interview. So I'm on it. So Kamala Harris, she takes a lot of money from Wall Street. She takes a lot of money from big financial attorneys. She takes a lot of money from real estate. And, you know, I think this article is very telling because it shows you what Kamala Harris actually thinks before she signed on with all the rest of these Johnny-come-lately progressives, before she signed on to the no corporate PAC money pledge. Asked whether she'll accept corporate campaign contributions in the future, Senator Kamala Harris of California gave the, quote, wrong answer at a town hall in Sacramento last week. When an audience member wanted to know whether Harris, a possible 2020 candidate, would take campaign money from corporations or corporate lobbyists, the senator paused for a moment and replied, "It depends." Wrong answer, the man interjected, speaking for plenty of progressive voters in the Democratic Party base who detest corporate campaign cash. Quote, "Well," Harris said, "that's not the answer you want to hear. It doesn't make it wrong." After assuring the man that she appreciated the reason he asked, Harris argued she's a, quote, open book when it comes to campaign contributions and invited him to look at her donations and, quote, draw your own conclusions about what has motivated me. Well, I am looking at your donations, and you're taking a lot of money from the financial industry. As far as I know, you're not for breaking up the big banks, which I think is a totally necessary policy, one that Senator Bernie Sanders is for, one that I believe Senator Elizabeth Warren has come around to. So you're not for breaking up the big banks. You're not for, as far as I know, reinstating Glass-Steagall, which, if anybody has followed the global financial crash, the repeal of Glass-Steagall in 1999 was pretty much the main first domino to go. So, you know, I'm an open book. Well, I just read your book. I don't like what I see. And I think it's an important thing. Thank you, Angie Zoink. $1.99, I think $1.99 pounds. Is that pounds? I think. So another important thing that people need to understand, and I think Bernie is going to have to explain this too, just because you only ban corporate PAC money doesn't mean you're not in bed with corporations. Beto O'Rourke is a perfect example of that. He has shunned corporate PAC money, yet I reported during the Texas Senate campaign he was doing fundraisers with fossil fuel lobbyists. He took donations from fossil fuel executives. Now, in fairness, Bernie Sanders has taken money from the industries from the defense, from the defense industry, right? So we got to keep it real. Bernie Sanders has taken money from individuals in the defense industry. Bernie Sanders, in his career, has also taken money from financial attorneys. However, I don't care if you take the money. I care if it informs and affects how you vote and the policies you push for. So as far as I can tell, Bernie Sanders has taken money from individuals in the defense industry, and he voted against the Iraq war. Bernie Sanders has called for U.S. support to end for the Yemen war. Bernie Sanders has called for us to get out of Syria. Bernie Sanders has called for us to get out of Afghanistan. Bernie Sanders has taken on defense contractors publicly and in policy he has tried to propose. So Bernie Sanders taking money from individuals in the defense industry doesn't affect his policies, doesn't affect his actual votes. However, Cory Booker's taken a lot of money from Wall Street and big pharmaceutical companies. Maybe that's why he voted against importing cheaper drugs from Canada. Maybe that's why Cory Booker has voted to deregulate Wall Street several times. It's not about if you actually take money from industry. It's about, is it affecting the way you vote? So you don't think that Beto O'Rourke taking money from the fossil fuel industry, didn't affect his vote to offshore drilling? You don't think Beto O'Rourke taking money from fossil fuel companies didn't affect his vote to lift the cap on exporting oil? There was a decades-long cap on foreign exports of oil. That cap was lifted, and that's why you have all these pipelines exploding all over the country, because of people like Beto O'Rourke. You don't think Cory Booker taking God knows how much money, and I'm going to get to Cory Booker when he announces, you don't think Cory Booker taking money from Wall Street has anything to do with him voting to deregulate Wall Street? And by the way, he voted for bills and laws that help Big Pharma because Wall Street is heavily invested in pharmaceutical companies. It's all connected. Zachary Kirkpatrick, $250 in the GoFundMe. He says, look forward to a big year for Status Coup. Zachary, time and time again, you never let us down. Thank you for your continued generosity. Now we're at $37,574, and I look forward to speaking with you. I sent you an email. I look forward to you responding. So thank you for that amazing $250. That's really, really generous. So now we're less than $500 away from $38,000. So keep the love coming if you can. I'll put the link in one more time. So you know what? Bernie Sanders, like I just said, he takes money from the defense industry. He has taken money from financial attorneys. However, look at his record. Look at the policies that he pushes. Look at what he votes for. If they're sending him money, then they're not leaving a great investment. If they're not smart investors, if they think leaving money with Bernie Sanders is going to mean policy choices. And that's what really drives me mad about these trolls and correct the record people. Like, they try to simplify and dumb everything down. So you're racist, you're sexist. How dumb are you to think that candidates like Kamala Harris, they're just taking money from Wall Street and Wall Street's just donating to them out of the kindness of their heart? They don't want anything back. DSO, 375, Jordan, fun watching you rise like the phoenix. It has been a struggle to rise like the phoenix. It hasn't always been at 363, but I'm really, really excited that the audience is growing. We're now past 25,000 subscribers here on the channel. We're now at 109 paid members through statuscoup.com, and we're growing every day. So thank you. I really, really appreciate it to everybody. And remember, folks, 362 people watching, but only 262 people have liked. So smash that like button. And give me 1 minute. I just have to answer the phone for Paula Jean Swearingen, who I'm supposed to interview soon. Hey, Paula Jean, I'm almost done with my live stream. Can I call you back? Okay. So I'm about to interview Paula Jean Swearingen, who ran against Joe Manchin. So sometimes you got to answer people live. So to end on Kamala Harris, I think, hey, Kamala Harris running for president, great. But you better be prepared to stand on your record. And honestly, I don't really want to hear, Kamala Harris deflecting questions about her record, that you're racist, that you're a Bernie bro, that you're sexist. This isn't about what you look like, Kamala Harris. This isn't about your gender, your race. It never has been with me, at least. And I don't know any Bernie Sanders supporters that have problems with Democratic establishment candidates because of their gender or their race. Nina Turner, by the way, is globally loved among progressives. She's a strong, progressive black woman. So I'm not going to back down. I'm going to continue reporting on Kamala Harris's record. And if they don't like it, too bad. Too bad. Creative experiments. I don't think that's fair. Creative Experiment says, you're right, Jordan. Bernie doesn't do any favors for money. Bernie just endorses Hillary for free, which is worse. Now, I've told you what I think about Bernie endorsing Hillary. I wasn't in love with it. But I gently and respectfully tell people this Bernie is a sellout is ridiculous. Just because somebody does something you don't agree with and don't like doesn't make him a sellout. Bernie endorsed her. I didn't think he should have, but he did it because he truly, in his heart, thought Donald Trump was a unique threat to the United States of America. I can't knock him if that's what he really thought, in my opinion. So before I move on to the last topic of the day, because I only got 2 topics today, remember about the contest we have going. It's called You Pick. So we're trying to get to 165 paid members by the end of this month. We're already at 109 total paid members. So we're getting there. We're almost there. Every single person that becomes a new member, I ask you, email jordan@protonmail.com. Email jordan@protonmail.com. I want you to email me what is your story idea? What would you like to see me and Ty get out and hit the road on? Do you want us to hit the road on another water contamination story? Do you want us to hit the road on a state and local level corruption issue? Do you want us to hit the road on a police brutality or a corrupt police department? Yet, but any new member, if you sign up, statuscoup.com/join, you can become a member as low as $5 a month or $10 a month. Any new member, email jordan@protonmail.com and give us your story idea. If we hit 165 by the end of the month, we're going to go through each story idea already. I've gotten a few that are really, really good. We're going to go through those story ideas. We're going to pick the one that we like the best between Jen, myself, Ty, and we're going to hit the road covering that story. If it's in your community, we'll probably want to we're going to interview you either way, but we'll probably want to meet with you to find out more about the story, because if it's in your community, obviously you know more than I on the story. So email jordan@protonmail.com after you sign up. I really appreciate all the new members we're getting. You're getting great bonus content. You're going to get behind the scenes videos from myself, Jen, and Ty. You're going to get a podcast from Ty and I, as well as I do individual podcasts. You're going to get bonus content from the documentary we're releasing on Flint. You're going to get a monthly video call, not a live chat. So all of it is on video for members with myself. Sometimes Jen will be on it. Sometimes Ty will be on it. But most importantly, you're going to actually support real, true, independent media, because we need to be funded by the viewers, not by special interests, corporations, plutocrats. I'm not meeting with those folks. So we are people funded and viewer funded. So statuscoup.com/join. Like I said, we're at 109 members right now. So I really, really hope, think about what you spend $5 on a day. Think about what you spend $10 on a week. Maybe if you're living paycheck to paycheck, I don't want you to put yourself out. So if you can't afford it, we understand. But if you can afford it, if you could afford one less $4 to $5 coffee drink or one less $10 whatever, this is super, super important. Jordan, is that for any member or a certain level member? No, any member. Any new member, $5 or $10 immediately. And by the way, I'm grandfathering in existing members who signed up before January. So this is for people who were already members and new members. But doesn't matter what level you become a member at. All new members, once you join, email jordan@protonmail.com. But we're going to go a little bit further than the top pick. In addition to the first pick, which we're going to actually go in the field on that story, we're going to pick 9 other story ideas from 9 other people, and we're going to cover those on the channel, probably on the Sunday marathons, because we want to cover all this on the Sunday marathons. So thank you for your support. Keep it coming, and let's get to that 165. Important for me, I would not be in independent media. Money, more importantly, funding is most important for an independent media network to get off the ground. As much as I love Jimmy, as much as I love Kyle and Lee and Jamal, my Status Coup, our DNA long-term is to be out in the field, not to just be coming live from my apartment. There's nothing wrong with that. There's obviously a place for commentary, but where I excel and where I want to be, what I think is lacking in the media landscape is in the field reporting, giving the microphone back to the people. That's what I want to do, and I want to do it in the field. So I hope you'll help fund it, and I hope actions speak louder than words. I'm going live 6 days a week. On Sundays, we're going live for hours to fundraise. We're doing it for you. For you. So hope you guys can contribute, become members. If you can't become members, you can share the videos. You can tell friends and family, hey, check out Status Coup. They're different. They're unique. They cover things no one else does. So here we go. Last story. It looks like from Trump's photo op at the border today, he's about to declare a national emergency. Pentagon preparing options to build border wall as Trump weighs emergency declaration. The Pentagon is preparing options to build barriers on the southern border in the event that President Donald Trump declares a national emergency there. The latest indication such a move is gaining traction within the administration. Quote, the Department of Defense is reviewing available authorities and funding mechanisms to identify options to enable border barrier construction, said Navy Captain Bill Speaks, a Pentagon spokesperson said. Quote, as there has not been such a declaration made, it would be inappropriate to comment further. The confirmation of the preparations comes after Trump on Thursday gave his most explicit warning yet that he was considering a declaration of a national emergency as a way freeing up funds for a border wall. Oh, excuse me. I lost you. For a border wall if talks with Democrats fail to yield a deal on his signature issue. Trump's declaration of an emergency at the southern border would allow the Army Corps of Engineers to design barriers and let contracts to build them. Lieutenant General Todd Semonite, who commands the Corps, accompanied Trump Thursday on his trip to tour the border in Texas, blah, 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 blah. So there's so many things. There's so many things I want to point out with this. Obviously, I'm not for a wall. I think it's really more about the culture wars and about stirring up the anti-immigrant base that President Trump and then candidate Trump was so expert in rousing up. Thank you, Giovanna. $5 in the super chat. Establishment Democrats are neoliberals, parentheses, extreme right-wing econ, and neoconservatives, foreign policy imperialists, just like Republicans. Couldn't agree more. But well said. But I haven't heard a pin drop. I haven't heard one pin drop from anyone on CNN, anyone on MSNBC, anyone, anywhere, the New York Times, the Washington Post, saying, how are you going to pay for this? How are you going to pay for this? You're just going to print the money? How are you going to pay for this border wall, for this national emergency? If you could just declare a national emergency and, raid the piggyback of other agencies, why is it that we can't do that for Medicare for all? There's 30 million by my count, 30 million people uninsured, tens of millions underinsured. If we can just declare an emergency, raid the piggyback for a wall that we don't need, that's racist, why is it that we can't figure it out? Why is it that we can't declare a national emergency when millions and millions of people are dying because they don't have health care? Millions of people are basically basically choosing to live sick rather than to go to an emergency room. Notary S, it ain't coming from the Defense Department budget. That's what they say. Sherry Smith, MMT, print it now. Thank you. They're just inventing the money for it. They're inventing the money for it. But I hear Jake Tapper and Chris Cuomo asking Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, well, how are you going to pay for this new Green Deal? How are you going to pay for Medicare for all, Bernie? How are you going to pay for free public college? When they give the answer, because they always have an answer, oh, well, that's kind of extreme. Ooh, but that's not going to sell. Ooh, but that's an expensive price tag. Oh, $715 billion for the military? Go have at it. Enjoy it. Oh, you're just going to, raid the piggyback of the Defense Department or the Army Corps of Engineers or whomever, okay. Their question isn't going to be, the media's question isn't going to be, how are you going to pay for it? It's going to be, who won? Who won? Because it's all a horse race. It's all theatrics for these people. Who won? I'll tell you who won. Nobody. Because it's a bullshit, theatrical showdown going on right now with real harmful implications for people, for working people. You have mothers on television talking about, do I pay for groceries or pay my electric bill? What do I do? Do I pay my electric bill? Do I pay my heating in the winter or groceries for my kids? But it's so interesting that the question now, how is Trump going to pay for this? I thought Mexico was going to pay for it, first of all. But how are you going to pay for it if you're declaring a national emergency? Is the Pentagon budget just bottomless? You're going to just invent more money? Because the people who voted for that Pentagon budget, I don't think they voted on it thinking it was going to the wall. And by the way, if anybody thinks that this wall is going to just be $5.7 billion, no. It's not going to just be $5.7 billion. Actual engineers and construction workers have said it could be in the tens, it could be in the hundreds of millions of dollars for this stupid wall. Michelle Rosen, thank you for talking about MMT. I wish more people understood how our federal finances really work. Congress authorizes spending, that's it. Yep, and I learned a lot. And Steve and I are talking about Steve doing some reports for Status Coup. So I'm excited about that. I'm glad we got more information because honestly, we have the money for Medicare for all. We have the money for free public college. We have the money for a Green New Deal. We got money for all of it. What we don't have is a political system where the representatives work for us. Their donors don't want progressive populist programs. You want to know why? Because that would cut into their money, their tax cuts, their subsidies, and their deregulation. So I don't want to hear from Jake Tapper anymore. I don't want to hear from Chris Cuomo, the New York Times, all of these out of touch, arrogant, bourgeoisie journalists. How are you going to pay for it? No. Why don't you ask, how is Trump going to pay for this? How's Trump going to pay for this? First, it's Mexico. Next, it's going to be Switzerland that pays for it. Wesley, as I just said, that's what Trump says it's going to be. But declaring a national emergency, trust me, when the ink is dry, it's going to be a lot more than $5.5 billion. Oh, I misstated it, actually. $5.5 billion. So it's going to be a lot more than $5.5 billion. So we'll have to keep at it. And of course, I mean, I'm not going to really cover this right now. Now you have Michael Cohen is going to be speaking in front of Congress. So it was kind of like DC's Super Bowl when James Comey spoke in front of Congress after he was fired. Oh my God, Michael Cohen speaking in front of Congress, forget about it. Forget about it. It's going to be hysterical. So that's the show for today. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. I will be back Sunday with a marathon starting at noon. This Sunday is going to be a little less. I can't say who, but I have somebody in my life that is going to have a big thing happening, a momentous, lifetime-changing event Sunday night that I have to be at. So I look forward to telling you about that when it's done, but I can't tell you about it now. It's top secret. But somebody in my family is going to have a very exciting event happening Sunday. So thank you for watching. As always, share the video even after the fact. Watch the other videos. Tell your friends. You are my Status Coup ambassadors. You racist, sexist men and women, all of you. And remember, we appreciate the GoFundMe. Keep us going. Ty and I are going to be hitting the road soon. The more funding we get, the better. And a lot of this funding that we're asking for now is so that we have the funds to cover Bernie Sanders' second presidential campaign. I can promise you there is not going to be a lot of coverage from independent media covering Bernie Sanders' campaign. Notary S, I do have plans to go to Flint again. First, I have plans to go wherever you send me. So that's why we're doing that that you pick new membership contest. The next place we go is where you decide for us to go. Giovanna, $5, thank you. Please interview Stephanie Kelton. I've reached out to her 4 times. She hasn't responded to me. Warren Mosler, Randall Rye, Ellis. Okay, I'm copying all of these names and putting it down. I have reached out to Stephanie Kelton several times. She unfortunately has not responded to me. So all I could do is keep reaching out. But thank you for the suggestions. And remember, folks, status quo only grows as far as you get us. So thank you for considering becoming a member. There's the link one more time. Let's get to that 165 so Ty and I could hit the road. And I will see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Because remember, most people are not lacking compassion in this country. Most people have no fucking idea what the hell is going on. Peace out.